WhatsApp is on 0244 466606, 0244 466606. So let's begin with President Kufuor, who has placed a travel ban on ministers of state, and Member of Parliament for North Tongue, Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, rather wants the president to reduce the number of his ministers to save the public purse instead of instituting a travel ban. Do you agree?
I really think he has a point. Look, we have 110 ministers. There are many. I think President Ronaldo has the highest number of ministers so far. So I think if he cuts the number of ministers, of course, you have some cuts somewhere to support something somewhere. I really agree with Okudzeto Ablakwa.
I disagree because the number of ministers shouldn't really affect traveling. I think generally the cost of traveling allocated to them should rather be reduced, if you ask me. I'm sure the president had a good reason for bringing out the 110 ministers, and it was supposed to help him better his governance. So I think in a way they should rather review the cost they allocate towards the budget they give to the ministers.
There's a lot of ministries and they are not doing anything. So he should rather cut down the ministries and just allow the ministers go on their trip if they want to. It's a personal something and he can't stop them from doing it. So I agree with Okudzeto if for the president to cut the ministers.
All right, so let's check out what we've been posting on Facebook.
James Abusanga says the travel ban and the reduction of ministers are all measures that can be taken to protect the public purse. And so if the president has started with one of the measures, let's applaud him and ask him to do more in protecting the public purse rather than engaging in the usual politics. But Jeremiah says, I disagree with him. Travel ban is very necessary and has come at the right time. Even if it is left with 10 ministers, they can still misuse public money if they are allowed to always travel out of the country anytime they want. Medical trips and outside Ghana lectures should also be considered in the travel ban. I'm not sure what you're trying to say here. We need the best of health systems in Ghana. Walanya Kutia says, what public purse is he talking about? Has he seen these 110 ministers with brand new V8 vehicles? Or are they also receiving double salaries as it occurred in his administration? Honorable, if you are watching Joy News Interactive, just inbox me the answers. Kwesi Boateng says, even if the president gives free visa to heaven, Honorable Ablakwa will tell the whole country that God is dead, so we should waste time going to heaven. Must you criticize everything the president does? If I may ask, what is right size of ministers should any administration have? Berima Frimpong says, that's what's needful. This government doesn't seem to know what it has to do. The wastage occasioned by the 110 ministers is so much. Despite the numerous ministers, the results are not forthcoming. Everything is nosediving under this government. God help us.
And, but, all right, so those are some of your comments on Facebook. Now, also the founder of the Ghana Freedom Party, Ekuya Donko, has filed a lawsuit at the Supreme Court asking the president and his vice to step aside over claims made by the former GFA GFA boss Kwesi Nyantakyi in the ANAS number 12 expose. What do you make of this lawsuit?
If everything is just done in the right way, if it's she has the right to file that lawsuit, fine. But whoever is supposed to respond to it should make sure he does it accordingly. She has every right to, despite the fact that her name is being mentioned. I think she has every right to.
It would be baseless because once it's put out there, she would have to have a lot of evidence, not just she saying she going to file a lawsuit. She would have to have evidence to prove her points. And if that is not there, it's just going to bring up another case. So I think she should just sit back and relax instead of filing a lawsuit.
You know, the fact that you mention a president's name, a case of corruption, doesn't mean that he should resign. No, we have to go into further investigate the issue, then know the true case of it before the president, will be indicted. But in this case, I don't think that he should resign now.
The lawsuit Eke Adonkor is making is actually baseless, because how can you just say that because they mentioned the vice president and the president's name, they are supposed to step aside? And besides, they were not the only people's names that were mentioned. It was a whole lot of people. So if you are just saying we should just set people aside because they are in power, because they were mentioned in that video, then we'll be setting the whole ministry aside because of what she's saying.
All right, a lot more of your comments are on Facebook as well. Let's check them out.
Kwesi Boateng says, that is the beauty of democracy. This reminds me of Dr. Asem Fufro and former President Kufuor during a town hall meeting in 2nd D. At least it will be a case for future law students to study. While Anya Kwetia says, I think we should applaud her for this decision to seek the court's view. We should not criticize her because it is her right. She is really making history despite her low level of education. James Abusanga says, another drama series by Eke Adonkor. Let's see how it goes. And Ponsa says, I agree with her because both the president and vice have questions to answer since they have their names mentioned in the video. And Atta James says, so NDC will never learn any lesson. You just hide behind this woman and fool. Ziblim Abdul Majid says, that's true, the law must work. Sharif Dean Alidu says, will you come and take over from them? And Obing Gideon says, Ghana can never be serious.
And Dominic Efrie says, kindly invite Eke Adonkor and let her explain everything in English for us. And Judge Siedu says she's on point. All right, it's very interesting comments there. Finally, the hashtag in Nigeria ahead of their match with Argentina has something to do with Die for Nigeria. But Super Eagles did not die for Nigeria, and so they leave for the next plane to get back home in Lagos. How do you feel as an African?
All right, so we're going to get the comments on Facebook, and we're going to pull those up in a bit. I mean, I feel terrible about it, the fact that Nigeria has lost and they're on their way out, because they represented some hope for the continent, and they were playing quite well. So on Facebook, Kwesi Boateng has at least given them the benefit of the doubt. And Professor says, it's very sad Messi didn't have Messi on the Super Eagles. Brahman Creed says, I think they went there only for fashion. Oh, don't say that. Kofi Randy says they should go home and eat their eba. And Stephen J says, well, he says he feels indifferent. Okay, so on Twitter, let's check out the trends, Ghana trends. Nigeria versus Argentina, that's trending #1, and Dark Online Safety. Niger is also trending there, the Manchester United goalkeeper. And GH Today, NSMQ is also trending. And then Nigeria is also trending. So there's a lot in the news on Twitter about Nigeria.
Oh. It's quite a sad one, but hey, still, we keep hope alive. That's how we end the interactive segment. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Many thanks for watching.